Hello trader, welcome back to another weekly Forex forecast for August 2025. Now this is the first week of August. We have seen that NFP data has come out and non-farm employment change was surprisingly low than the forecast, almost half of the forecast, and that has given a big impact on DXY. What we can see that DXY, after this pullback to the upside from this long-term downtrend, the market in this data has reacted aggressively, and we can see the market has completely broken back below to this major direction of the trend. Now this week, what kind of information we can expect in this market? As if we look at the bigger picture here from the monthly, also we can see the market printed previous months a bull candle crossing this monthly high and immediately got that rejection back below. There is a crossover of 10 and 20 EMA. Now is DXY started to drop again to this order block? Let's try to understand from the technical aspect. Along with also we can see that data is potentially negative for DXY. Is this giving DXY further bearish move, or we could see again deeper pullback to the upside? This is what we will be trying to analyze from this weekly Forex forecast, along with all those pairs that we can see on the list: GBPUSD, Euro Dollar, AUDUSD, Dollar CAD, XAUUSD, Dollar Yen, and GBP JPY. These are the instruments that I'm going to do a complete multi-time frame analysis to see how we can find trading opportunity throughout the week. Now before I progress with this weekly Forex forecast, traders, make sure that you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So without further delay, let's get started with DXY, starting with the monthly chart. Okay, data. So looking at monthly, first of all, DXY to see bigger picture. As we already discussed that from the monthly, DXY has got the rejection after this initial narrow pullback. Now, if we look at this overall market structure, starting from here on the monthly on DXY, we can see the market has made its move back below with a stronger impulse. Followed by previous month, we can see that DXY has printed a narrow bullish pullback candle in this market. And what we can see here that this month the market initially has broken that high and then got the rejection back below with a stronger momentum. With the DXY data that we can see after break of this high, DXY has got the rejection back below. And as we can see, there are two fundamental factors that are contributing for DXY potentially to be bearish now. One is that we can see that non-farm employment change has come out to be very negative than the forecast. So that might give DXY a downside momentum. While also from the technical point of view, if you look at this monthly trend, here we can see that there is a 1 monthly impulse from this level with a initial pullback, and the price just tested this support here, and also support here as a resistance, and support turn resistance has given DXY a potentially another rejection back below from this high to the low. So from the monthly, we could see DXY potentially continue to drop from the bigger picture, and if it continue to drop, if we look at this pullback, and then we might see new impulsive move back below, and we might see DXY breaking this low or even coming back to this order block from the bigger picture perspective. If we look at the weekly chart here, that we can see from the weekly time frame, DXY after this crossover of 10 and 20 EMA, it was maintaining that downtrending market structure. From here, a big move followed by this pullback, another move, deeper pullback, and the market is still maintaining that downtrending market structure, creating series of lower high and lower low, except this weekly candle. This is the NFP week that we can see the market has made initial bounce back to the upside to this liquidity zone, and we see there is a long wick candle formation here. Now the question is the next week the market is going to fill that long wick, or we could see that the market breaking back below to create a new lower low. As if we look at the low of this weekly candle, we can see is still there is a series of higher low here from the weekly. And what I think that as the market has penetrated that high here with a long wick, we could see that DXY potentially come back here to fill that zone and continue to drop here to create a new lower low in this market. Now if we look at the daily chart here on DXY, we can see that from the daily there was a daily impulse back to the upside to this liquidity zone, which is an important resistance line. The price has hit that level with a one single bounce back to the upside before the NFP, and we can see with the NFP the market has rejected back below again towards the downside. Now we could see two potential scenario here. Is if we look at this daily impulse, we can see this is the impulse and the market has dropped back below here with a one single daily candle. Now with the retest of this daily 10 and 20 ms, the market has already crossed over from each other. There is still probability for this market to bounce back up to the resistance line again. But as we see that longer term trend is down, the probability to drop again to this support or even to create a new lower low with the trend continuation is higher than the market to go back up. As if we look at the intraday time frame from the 4-hour chart, that we can see the market is forming a head and shoulder, with the left shoulder, right shoulder with a head. The market may continue to drop here to this level to create a new lower low in this market. Therefore in this area DXY may show this potential wave to continue to drop to this support level. So this week we may see DXY is still remaining bearish to this support level or even potentially breaking below. Now based on that, if we look at British pound US dollar, we might see a completely mirror effect. That means we could potentially see the GBPUSD to remain bullish as long-term picture. If we look at the monthly on British pound US dollar, we can see that from the monthly chart, GBPUSD, this is a monthly bullish market structure. What we have seen on GBPUSD from this level, there was a monthly impulse with a stronger move back to the upside, followed by we can see a monthly bearish move here. Now this monthly drop here on British pound US dollar is one single month move, and the price has dropped to that monthly support level. And this month, as you can see with the NFP, the market initially bounced back to the upside with a narrow move. And what we could see that from the monthly time frame, as bigger picture is bullish, we could see the market potentially try to move back to the resistance line or even to create a new higher high in this market. Now if we look at the weekly chart on GBPUSD, we can see that from the weekly time frame, this is the weekly crossover 10 and 20 EMA, and we can see the market is trending here with this move followed by this pullback, and you can see another move followed by pullback, and the market is maintaining that series of higher high and higher low, which is in an uptrending market on British pound US dollar. And what we can see here in this area, this is an important level of support on GBPUSD, which is a key level of support here, and with that support the market is currently maintaining that bullish market structure here in that area on the lower time frame. But at the same time, if we look at the higher time frame, we can see the price has got the rejection back below with a head and shoulder formation, which is potentially showing a reversal pattern here on British pound US dollar. Therefore on GBPUSD, what I think the price may start to drop back below to the direction of the trend. So if we look at the daily chart here, what we can now, let's look at GBPUSD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have on British pound US dollar. Now looking at GBPUSD, we can see that first of all monthly chart to see overall picture in this market. Now from the monthly, that we can see GBPUSD for the bigger picture perspective, it's a bull market. If you look at from here, we can see that this is a monthly impulse to the upside, followed by last month we have seen the market has broken back below with a one single monthly move back below. And if you look at this current monthly price, this is the NFP candle, and with the NFP data that we have seen, the price has got the rejection back below from this monthly support level, and we may see that GBPUSD potentially to continue to trend back to the upside. Now if we look at the weekly chart here, we can see from the weekly time frame, this is where from the weekly GBPUSD showing that very strong bullish market structure. This is the weekly trend that you can see starting from this reversal pattern here. The market has made its impulse followed by this correction. We can see another impulse followed by correction, another impulse followed by correction. So the market is maintaining that series of higher high and higher low, which is in an uptrending market on GBPUSD. And we can see that from here, this is the weekly bullish candle formation on British pound US dollar, and followed by the market has dropped back to this support here. If you closely look at it, we can see the market has caused a long wick candle in this key level of support. This is the weekly support here, and from that support, what we can expect on GBPUSD, that the market to potentially bounce back to the upside to create a new higher high, as it is a long-term bull market. The market in this weekly support level expecting it to revert back again to create a new higher high. If we look at the daily chart here on GBPUSD, we can see that from the daily time frame, we see also the daily bullish trend, and there is a daily impulse that you can see, which is a huge bigger impulse in the past, and the market has tested this support from this previous resistance turn support here, and we can see another impulse where the market was maintaining that bullish market structure, followed by we can see the price is maintaining that downtrend here, and with this local downtrend the price dropped to that support. And if we closely look at it, we can see it just penetrated that low here, which is support here and also support here, and from this support level on GBPUSD, expecting this market to continue to rise back again in the major direction of the trend. So if we look at the 4-hour chart here on GBPUSD, we can see that in this 4-hour time frame, the market is maintaining now a potential reversal pattern formation in that area. We see there is an inverted head and shoulder. With this break of this support, that can give GBPUSD potentially an uptrending move to the upside. So this is where we may be able to find a suitable entry. Once we see price action confirmation on GBPUSD, we can look for bullish entry for this potential move to the upside with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at euro dollar. Now as we can see that GBPUSD and euro dollar, guys, showing almost the same kind of pattern, except it's just a mirror of DXY. And what we can see here on euro dollar, that also a bigger monthly impulse from this monthly support. This is the monthly impulse to the upside with a narrow monthly candle. And what we can see here, this is the current monthly candlestick pattern formation with a very narrow move back to the upside here on the monthly on euro. And what I think that as this market is a long-term bull market, from this support level, expecting euro dollar to potentially bounce back up to create a new higher high in this market. Now if we look at the weekly chart here on euro dollar, we can see that from the weekly time frame, this is the weekly price action where the crossover of 10 and 20 EMA from the weekly is confirmed, and we can see the market is maintaining bullish market, an impulse correction, impulse deeper correction, and where we can see the market is maintaining series of higher high and higher low, which is in an uptrending market structure on euro dollar, followed by the past week that we can see this is a long week weekly candle where the price has broken this weekly low, and after cross of this low the price tested this 20 EMA and then has got the rejection back above from the weekly on euro dollar, and we might see that this market potentially to continue to trend back to the upside to create a new higher high. If we look at the daily chart here on euro dollar, we can see the market has tested this daily low, which is an important level, and after this doji cross, grab that liquidity and form a bullish engulfer from the daily time frame. And this daily price action is showing that potentially bullish move back to the upside, as major trend that we can see is on the bullish side, and we can expect the market potentially to continue to trend back to the upside to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the 4-hour chart here on euro dollar, we can see that from this intraday time frame, this market is maintaining that bullish market structure here, and with this double bottom here, that on euro dollar, the market has made its move back to the upside with a inverted head and shoulder. The price is forming a reversal pattern in that area on euro dollar. Now with this reversal pattern, what we can expect this market potentially to continue to trend back to the upside to create a new higher high in this market. So this is where on the lower time frame we will be waiting for a potential pullback and then continuation to the upside. What I think euro dollar potentially continue to trend back in the major direction. So this could be the potential wave for the upcoming week on euro dollar on the lower time frame. Let's look at AUD USD to see what kind of market structure it may form. Now looking at monthly on AUD USD, we can see that from the monthly like euro dollar and British pound US dollar, also this market is maintaining a bullish market structure. From here, this is the monthly impulse, followed by the previous monthly candle is a potential pullback candle. As you can see that after cross of this low, the bulls started to push back to the upside, and what I think this month the bulls may potentially continue to push back to the upside, at least to the monthly resistance line or cross of this high on the lower time frame. If we look at the weekly chart here on AUD USD, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly bigger impulse to the upside followed by pullback, and with this pullback from the weekly on AUD USD, we can see the price has crossed this 10 and 20 EMA and maintaining that bullish channel in that area. And with this bullish channel formation on AUD USD, the market may continue to rise back to the upside to the major direction of the trend. Now if we look at the daily chart here on AUD USD, we can see that from the daily, this is the daily impulse to the downside, and what we can see last day of trading week with the NFP, the price has crossed this low and then grab the liquidity with a bullish impulse to the upside on AUD USD. The market may potentially continue to trend back to the upside to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the 4-hour chart here on AUD USD, we can see that from the intraday time frame, from 4-hour time frame on AUD USD, the market is maintaining that bullish market structure here. After this crossover, we can see there was a local downtrend, and with this downtrending market, the price has dropped to that support level, and with this drop to this support, what we can see here in that area, which is maintaining a potentially an inverted head and shoulder, and we can expect this market to continue to trend back to the upside to create a new higher high. This could be the potential wave on AUD USD. Now let's look at dollar CAD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity. As you can see, past week there was a pretty massive move on dollar CAD due to the CAD and dollar both news. Now we can see that just a reflection of DXY on dollar CAD. Now if we look at this bigger picture on dollar CAD, we can see that back to back from this level quite a few months, dollar CAD has broken back below, followed by past month we have seen there is a monthly pullback, and this month the market has initially bounced back to the upside, crossing that high, grab the liquidity, and then the price has rejected back below again on the monthly time frame, and that drop on the monthly may potentially continue to drop back to this support level. And what I think that this market may potentially continue to trend. If we look at the weekly chart here on dollar CAD, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly price action where there is a resistance here, and also resistance here. The price has crossed this high and then got that rejection back below. And as we can see, the dollar CAD longer term trend here is bearish from this level. There is a big move followed by this pullback to the upside, and you can see another move followed by this pullback to the upside here on the weekly time frame, and the market may potentially continue to trend back down here to create a new lower low from the weekly time frame. Now if you look at the daily chart here on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily bullish move back to the upside here on dollar CAD to this key level, which is a resistance line here. And what we can see after cross of this resistance, the market has crossed this high, grabbed the liquidity, and then this is the daily price action where there is a daily bearish engulfer formation. And what I think that as long-term trend is down, expecting that from the daily time frame the price come back to this support level to create a new lower low. Now if you look at the 4-hour chart here on dollar CAD, we can see that from the intraday time frame, from the 4-hour chart here on dollar CAD, this is currently showing that bearish move, and which is an important level of resistance here. The price has crossed that high, grabbed the liquidity, and we can see the price has currently broken from the structure and potentially maintaining a downtrend again to the major direction, as we can see with this bearish engulfer on the intraday, followed by a liquidity grab with this bearish pin bar here. So that might give this dollar CAD to remain bearish here, and we could see the price continue to drop to this long-term support level. Now let's look at XAUUSD. We can see that gold was pretty volatile past week, and at the end of the week with the weakness on dollar, we can see gold just has reversed from this key level. So let's see that this month what kind of movement we can expect. Now we can see that with the monthly close back to back 3 dojis on the monthly on gold, and all this monthly candlestick pattern, we can see maintain that series of higher low. And as a result, this month, once the price open maintaining that higher low, there is a monthly bullish impulse to the upside. And with this monthly bullish impulse, we can expect on XAUUSD to bounce back here, to cross that, to fill that long wick. So we can see the market is maintaining that bullish market structure. And if we look at the weekly chart to see what kind of price action it is forming. Now from the weekly, we saw that as expected on gold after the previous weekly pin bar, this week the market has dropped to that weekly support level, and with this weekly support level break, there is a stronger bullish rejection with this weekly pin bar formation. This is a full body green with a long wick candle which is showing that stronger rejection from this support level. And at the same time, if we look at this weekly overall market structure, we can see that this is the monthly and weekly bull market, and this is weekly pin bar where also the prices crossed this previous weekly low and form this huge bullish pin bar from the weekly, giving a very high probability this market potentially to continue to trend here back to the upside to create a new higher high. If we look at the daily chart here on the daily time frame on gold, we can see that this is showing bullish market structure on the daily, and this is an important level of support on gold, and this is the daily support, which is an important level of support here, and also support here, also turn that support, and from that support we see that there is a sharp rejection back to the upside. Last day of trading week, a long bullish candle formation on the daily, giving that XAUUSD potentially to remain bullish here. Now this is a important daily resistance that has broken the daily candle close above. What I think with the market open, we might see initial pullback and potentially continue to trend back again to the upside to the daily resistance line. If we look at the intraday or the 4-hour chart here, that you can see there is a sharp breakout with a one single impulse to the upside on XAUUSD. Now there are two potential scenarios I mentioned earlier, guys. Here the market may potentially drop for a pullback, or we might see with a narrow pullback another impulse back to the upside. Here we can see the market crossed from 10 and 20 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and it's confirmed switches as a sign that the market may remain bullish here, as with the weakness on DXY. Gold also showing a stronger momentum here. So if we look at the 1-hour price action, here is we can see there is a 1-hour bullish price action with a one single move back to the upside, followed by this narrow pullback, another impulse. So the best area that we can look for potential entry is for after an initial pullback or any of this low swing low, as it is a strongly uptrending market. We might see any point the price is breaking any of this swing low, and with the price action confirmation, this is where we will be looking for potential bullish entry opportunity on XAUUSD. As soon as we will find suitable entry, we will be looking for bullish entry with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at dollar yen. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Looking at the monthly again on dollar yen. Now as you can see, with the weakness on DXY, with the monthly close on dollar yen, the price has crossed this monthly high, and as along with the DXY, dollar yen also has got that rejection from this high. And if we look at this monthly, previously monthly bearish impulse, followed by, we can see that it's a pullback to the upside, cross this important monthly resistance. And in this area, if we look at quite a few monthly open and close, which is a high liquidity zone, and from that liquidity zone the market has got the rejection, and we may see the market continue to trend here to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the weekly chart here on dollar yen, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly bearish trend. We can see the market is maintaining a big drop pullback, another drop pullback. The market is maintaining that series of lower high and lower low, which is in a downtrending market structure. Followed by, this is the weekly pin bar here, and with this weekly pin bar on dollar yen, we can see the market is maintaining potentially further downside here. And this weekly pin bar is quite bearish, that we can see from this previous resistance line. The price has got the rejection, and with the rejection, what I think the price may try to break below here, as long-term trend is down. If we look at the daily chart, from the daily perspective on dollar yen, we can see after this cross of this high, which is a key level on the daily time frame, the price has got that rejection with this daily bearish move, expecting that on dollar yen potentially continue to trend here to this support level to create a new lower low. So this could be the potential wave on dollar yen in this upcoming week, where there is a one single move back below with a stronger move, and we can see the market has completely broken from the structure. We might see narrow pullback in that area or liquidity grab that can give dollar yen a potential move back below here. As soon as we will find suitable entry on dollar yen, we will be looking to sell with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at GBP, JPY. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this market. Looking at monthly chart on GJ, we can see that from the monthly GBP, JPY, after quite a few months of bullish move from this key monthly resistance, getting a rejection now, and this is a monthly key level on GJ, and with this monthly key level, expecting that GBP, JPY to break below to create a new lower low in this market. If we look at the weekly chart here on GJ, we can see that from the weekly time frame, the previous week formed a doji, and the price has crossed this high, grabbed the liquidity, and we can see that this is the weekly bearish engulfer crossing that dojis both direction from a long bearish engulfer from the weekly on GJ. And I think the price may potentially continue to drop again, as this is a very important key level. The price has crossed that high and broken out of the structure with a engulfing a very narrow weekly doji that can give GJ continuation back below here. If we look at the daily chart here on GBPJPY, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily bearish engulfer with a stronger movement back below here, and this is a very important daily support level on GJ, expecting that this market potentially to continue to trend here to this order block, and we might see the lower time frame downtrend continuation on GBPJPY. Now if we look at the 4-hour chart here on GJ, we can see that from this level, this is a bearish engulfer again with a stronger move back below on GJ. With this intraday bearish drop, the market has broken this support level, which is sign that the market may continue to trend here, as with a stronger impulse we can expect an initial pullback or narrow consolidation in that area that can give GJ to another impulse to drop back below to create a new lower low. So this could be the wave on GBPJPY, and that might lead the price back to this support level as soon as we find suitable, and we will be looking to sell with a high probability trade setup. Traders, if you enjoyed this education and analysis, this weekly Forex forecast, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.